load screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special talk Q&A with, well, me, Fujit. But I'm not alone. I'm joined by lots of people, and because I'm quite a lazy person, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. So we'll go from the top, starting with Aminette.
Hello.
Short introduction, but that's Aminette. It's very short. She didn't really say much.
I'm
Then,
not sure if you expected more. I thought
like,
say hi. I mean,
hi, I'm
you're
Aminette.
welcome.
I'm a
You're welcome.
YouTuber. Everybody knows me because I do the tours.
Yes.
and then we've got Nino.
Good evening.
There he is. Another short introduction because everybody should know Nino. And then moving down, we have Wildwood Salpa. Everybody knows Jack
Hello.
when it comes to tours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but I haven't been like streaming for the last 2 seasons. So if you joined like between these, during those 2 seasons, then yes, I'm going to stream both EU and APAC. But then I probably won't be streaming as much as some of the streamers here. So, but I will bring some really good matches to stream. So do have an eye on that.
Well, there you go, there's Jack. Now, a couple of things before I introduce the other people. If you are in my Discord server, or if you aren't, then that's just daft. But if you are in my Discord server, you can ask questions. There's a special channel. You can also jump into this VC. You can't talk, but you can literally hear us and see us and all that sort of stuff. So there is a link to the Discord server in the YouTube description. So by all means, click on that. Ask your questions in the special tab called Questions for Livestream. Now, without further ado, we also have 2 other very special guests. We have Alexandra from Wargaming.
Hello, it's me. Hi guys, thanks Fujit for having me, and also one more special guest from Wargaming. Let's talk a little bit about tournaments and about World of Tanks Blitz. So enjoy the live stream.
Yes, we have another very special guest who I was hoping was going to come because this is the person who does everything related to tours. It's Toylan! Toylan, where are you? Yay!
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm very happy to see you, all of you. I love you very much, and I hope you will not push me a lot with your questions, and you will try to understand our drama. So some things that you don't like in tournaments, but I will try to answer all your questions.
Excellent. Now we've also got a load of clan representatives from EU and a couple and one from NA. I can see there. So what we're going to do, I've already got some questions here, and those guys with the clan representatives, let them come in and ask whatever questions they want to ask about the tour to get off their mind. As long as there are a couple of rules, guys. Don't over talk. Let people finish their answer to you, and be clear on who you're directing the question to, if you don't mind. Before we kick it off further, look on the YouTube channel. In the pinned message, there is up for grabs some special giveaway. Okay, courtesy, very kindly, of Alexandra Wargaming. Yes, it is for the best questions. We have, if I believe, 20 special attachments. Is that correct, Alexandra?
Affirmative.
There we go. So the best tour-related question, the best 20 tour-related questions, which will be decided after the stream, so don't worry, we'll tell you who they are at the very end of the stream, will get those attachments. But we are going to need your in-game name, your user ID, and of course your server. So, without any further ado, let's kick off. And I'm going to ask the very first question, and it's to Toylan. Are you looking forward?
You?
Of course you may. Of course, all times.
Just to clarify, it's like next level of giveaways, and you asking for user IDs, not in-game names.
We've been told to ask for user IDs as well nowadays.
Like, that's something modern. Okay, acceptable. Acceptable.
It doesn't.
Technologies.
It
Yeah.
doesn't always work right because YouTube
No.
tends to mark them as spam, which is not helpful. But I do understand that it makes it a lot easier for Wargaming to handle the giveaways, so we do try to get them where we can.
My dream feature is to make copy and paste feature exactly from the game.
Can
So
we,
the
please?
players can copy and paste their in-game name to Discord, to other social media. That will make our lives so much easier, guys.
100%.
Dreams are
Absolutely.
dreams. Okay, let's proceed.
So, as I said, I'm going to ask the very first question, and it's going to be to Toylan. Are you looking forward and are you excited for the upcoming tour across all the servers? And if so, why?
Yeah. Of course, I'm excited a lot. I'm worrying a lot about it. I would like to see a lot of, if I see a lot of teams in the tourneys, it means that we have some success. We can have some more teams in my activity, and I like to see it. That's why I'm always happy when I see new faces, new teams, new clans, and of course my very, very beloved commentators, contributors that always ready to help us and to stream some matches.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, I think you hit the nail on the head because virtually everybody in this chat is passionate about the tour scene and they just want to see it grow and grow, and everybody just wants to do what they can to help it grow. So it's great to hear that that's your view as well. That's just perfect. Who's next?
Yeah,
Come on.
absolutely.
Well, I know that this is something that people will be worried about, as it's not been officially set what's happening with the tank. The Minotaur, as it is right now in open tests, seems completely broken, and with it probably being released mid-tour, I think to phrase it as a question, is Wargaming going to look at that tank and make some adjustments before it's actually released to the live server? Because that will totally ruin tournaments as it is right now.
Leon, did you get the question?
The question is basically, will
Could
the
you,
Minotaur be nerfed?
Would what?
Will the Minotauro, the new Italian TD,
Let's not
'cause
discuss the tanks that are not released yet, so it's just on the test right now, and of course we all know that the tech characteristics are not final yet, and that 8,000 damage that we saw on the live stream, that's not the picture we'll see when the tech line will be released. So yeah, let's wait for the release, and the tech characteristics will be adjusted to the good ones.
thank God.
I think that not thanks God, but thanks to No Skill Just Luck, who is responsible for balance somehow. So yeah, he's taking care of our balance with our balance designers as well. Yeah. By the way, can I ask, do you expect, guys, a lot of Italian tank destroyers in the tournaments?
That depends on if it's balanced more than if it was like we saw it on the stream. That's why I'm asking the question. I think it will basically overrun tournaments, even though
I
it's got
don't
some
think so.
weaknesses. You don't?
I absolutely don't think so. Its DPM is just, I mean, it has worse DPM than any other heavy tank at tier 10. In my
But
opinion,
that's only. Sorry.
it will be fairly useless. There will maybe be like 1 or 2 Minotauros, sometimes, like we have a Kranwagen at the moment. But if someone wants to push the Minotauro with a DPM tank, mobility-wise, DPM-wise, everything is just better, and everyone will just be able to kill that tank.
Well, on that, it's a good topic. So can I just bring in for immediately? I'm going to bring in Alpha and Money because they're both tour players as well, and Spitfires. And what are their view on the Minotauro? Basically, because if it does come out during the tour, then in its current format, chances are people will or possibly may want to use it. So let me just get their roles.
Because that was my concern as well, yeah.
So my suggestion is not making any predictions before
Mhm.
we release the actual tank with actual tech characteristics.
Mhm.
Because yeah, now it's quite high, and yeah, also depending on the gameplay, depending on the style of the gameplay, or from personality to personality. Yeah, if you play only on one shell, on the last one, yeah, your damage per minute will be quite high, but it also depends on the battle situation, the battle conditions. So
Mhm.
mm, it's hard to predict right now. But yeah, for sure the damage per minute will be nerfed. The tank will be rebalanced, I will say. Yeah,
Mhm.
and we'll see what's going to happen next. For me, actually, frankly speaking, it's quite strange to see tank destroy in the tourneys.
Mhm.
Not a popular class.
Except the Grilla on Fort Despair in a Twister Cup. Once upon a time. So,
True story, yeah. So press F to pay respect. Rate one love.
so, 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 guys. I mean, because we've got Days and Spitfires and Alpha and Money and Whale Legs. You guys all play tournaments. Do you see TD meta? Forget the Minotauro, even though obviously it's in its test phase and it will change. But do you see TDs making a showing, coming into the meta anytime soon? You should all have the ability to speak now, by the way. They've all gone quiet.
I don't think they do. They might need to rejoin the channel. Alpha does.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's working.
Okay, yeah, it's working now.
Hello.
Okay, but you've heard the question, yeah?
Yeah, we did. We did hear the question.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. In my opinion, I don't think like TDs so far haven't been meta since 2016 because their lack of mobility and lack of HP.
HP.
Yeah. So basically, you have the HP of a medium, but the only thing they have is basically a camo rating and a gun, which is not fitting the meta, considering you need now mobility, armor, the HP, and average again just to counter push and relocate. This tank I think is gonna lack mobility drastically and not fit the current meta, the types, considering it hasn't been nerfed and it's been meta for like 2 seasons. Because it has everything, I don't think it's gonna fit. TDs will not fit the meta till like heavies get nerfed and mediums get nerfed
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah, to be fair, like I didn't see much infos about the Minotauro, except like I saw the video from Nino. And I saw he was saying it was pretty bad, I think. Yeah, I mean, I know the armor seems good, but I would like to see how the turret feels like when you're shooting gold. I know the type, which is the meta right now, doesn't have the best gold spin, but I would like to see how it competes, when you shoot gold versus Minotauro. But yeah, like Speed said, I mean the tank doesn't have fully traversable turrets, and it seems like so slow. So compared to type, I don't see the like it's not as versatile as the type is, so I don't see why it would be used right now.
I may add something over Alpha's and Spit's statement. I think the Minotauro is kind of a bad tank for the game in the sense that it doesn't promote interactive gameplay. It's kind of stale. It's kind of like used like a Crown Wagon in my opinion. You can put it in a corner and it will hold very well, but it's not very interesting to play with. I don't know. I just don't feel good about this tank in Clan Wars. But yeah, I guess it'll be pretty fun in randoms when opponents can't penetrate you though.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I mean, you mentioned there just staying on this subject because it's quite a good subject, and somebody's mentioned a few things on YouTube. What do you think of the type? Is it too powerful for tours or something? Because we've had a few in the YouTube chat saying that, and it actually came from Daniel from BPS, and he said, where is it? The type is broken and no one really cares. Is that a sentiment that is shared throughout the tour community?
So yeah, to be fair, I think it's kind of shared because this tank is basically a jack of all trades. It goes as fast as an IS-7. It's more armored than an IS-4. It has the gun of an E5 kinda with less pen on the gold and less aiming time, but it does everything so well that nothing else can fit the game. Even though everything else is good in its own way, this tank just does everything as good as every tank that wants. So yeah, that's why it's like the main tank I think in that meta.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, are you satisfied with it or not?
What?
Are you satisfied with Type 71 or not?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, it involves a lot of skill because you have to in weak spots. It's really hard to pen a type with a type, and like, but yeah, I think its armor for what it is like a bit too much.
So you're in the team nerf Type 71 or not?
I think they should nerf it since like if you only see this tank in clan war, that means it's OP, and I think diversity maybe should be a bit. I mean, diversity should be like promoted. So I guess they should nerf type. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's my opinion.
I agree.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, same.
Interesting.
I think
I
that
also feel
overall
like
when sorry.
mobility. I feel like the mobility on type is just
It's too
hilarious
much.
for the kind of armor. You can
It's
just
too much.
chase any medium. And yeah,
Yeah.
I was hoping for it on the first nerf after its release. There was like a nerf of 50 horsepowers, which was not really doing anything to the mobility. But I
Yeah,
was
it feels like you're playing a nice four, which is going like a nice four that is going like almost as fast as medium sometimes. So
yeah.
it's I mean in mediums like you can't even circle it. You're just getting chased, and if he rams you, like you take like 300 damage. So in mediums you can't do anything, and yeah, I think it's too powerful. Yeah,
If I may add
only the gun
my
is
thoughts as
balanced.
well, like it's just too good of a generalist. There's not really any reason to play
We are
something
like
else if the type is flexible and you can play it in any position. And that's kind of the problem that I experience. I'm from NA, but we kind of see types getting substituted for super heavies. Like it can take the role of a super heavy. It has slightly less hit points, but it's just so much stronger in a push because the armor is so effective. And so, like, a lot of tanks are getting ignored or just replaced because the type is just so good at everything. It might not be the best. A concept might be better at using gun depression and being accurate from a distance. But if you need to push, the type is just so much more versatile. And so that's kind of the issue that we see. If we could make it a little bit weaker in certain situations, perhaps we could see more of the diversity that I believe someone else mentioned.
Just to clarify, you are comparing the concept 1B to the Type 71?
Simply for the sake of showing that they're different tanks. So concept has better gun depression, better accuracy, but if it were to push compared to a Type 71, it would die faster because the armor is less effective on flat terrain.
But
where you
frankly
can't be
speaking,
held down.
the amount of Type 71s on the battlefield and Concept 1B is totally different. So it's maybe
Correct.
not really correct to compare the researchable tank and the tank that was in the event and
Okay.
sold after. So
If I may,
yeah, just to let's imagine that we don't have Type 71 in the game. Which tank would you pick to place it instead of Type 71?
I think at the moment it would probably be 60 TP, personally.
Lewandowski,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's also relatively versatile, but we would see more crons, I think, as well.
IS4.
It's
Oh yes,
And-
IS4 would be seen. I think that super heavies might get used a little bit more because at that point you want something that's stronger at pushing, and the type is just so fast. It's
IS7 maybe
the
sometimes.
fast, well-armored tank, and it's really hard to have something that's more versatile than it at the moment.
Do you agree that when we release the new tech line, the tourney setups might change, and it's a good thing that the tourney setups changes with the releases of new tech branches? Otherwise, we would play IS4 for 7 years.
Absolutely. I think like personally, I love the changes because it keeps things interesting. We want to see different metas. And so like I think that everyone can agree that playing in a Type 71 meta is okay. I just don't think everyone wants it to be this way forever. And I don't believe that that was ever the plan. I just think that people are voicing their concerns about how strong the Type 71 is in the current meta, and that's okay, but yes, shouldn't be a perpetual thing for sure.
We're talking about the strengths of Type 71 only in terms of tournaments or in terms of random battles as well?
I would say
Mostly
also in random
tournaments.
battles, like you can see people who just don't have the most clue of what they're doing, getting away with.
Let's focus on tournaments.
Yeah,
That's my
okay.
suggestion. So if this stream is about tournaments, let's focus on tournaments.
But
Random battles are a totally different story.
To be fair, I think with Type 71 is that the gameplay, the way we play it, is like the one we always wanted. We wanted something mobile, like relocations and stuff, like counter pushes, like in short timings. Which is what they didn't have with the Type and the Kran and the i7, the Kran and TP. But this is what we had with like let's say FV215B Foch and 140 meta, and this is what we were missing, but not this way. What we played, what we used to play 3 years ago, we played it with 3 different tags, and now we only play it with one, and one does everything, just like all 3 before. And that's I think what we're missing, more diversity.
I see. Yeah, I got your point. Yeah, thank you.
If I may, I think Wellegs I think that's your nickname. Was comparing type to concept, because if you look at the type, it doesn't have like any real weakness, and it's fast enough to invalidate all slow medium tanks, and maybe like concept has like maybe more gun depression or accuracy, for example, but it's like so lackluster in the other departments that you can't justify playing a specialized tank instead of a type, because with a type you can just multi-roll, you can do whatever you want, and you can change scenario really easily. And whereas if you have a concept and you need to push, well, it's not going to be any good for it. And to be honest, I think if we wanted to play concepts because it was the strongest tank, we could just play it. As like top players, it's not really a problem to get your hands on premium tanks or anything. So it's just like the type it's overpowered.
That's a perfect way to put it, Days. I think that that's exactly what I meant to say, and I'm sorry for not being perfect with my words. But the point is that the concept is a tank that can be very strong when hold down and when firing from a distance. But when in other situations, it has weaknesses that can be taken advantage of, whereas the type is just so good at everything, it's hard to take advantage of it, at least compared to other tanks such as the concept.
To sum up and close the topic with Type 71 and concept, do you have any suggestions for Wargaming to make your tourneys more comfortable?
Make mouse great again.
Let's have to pay respect for mouse. Yeah, nothing should be added here.
I know that. Remember a while ago, back at Tank Fest, we had a talk with Dennis at the time, and he was talking about that every 6 months or so, Wargaming would change the meta, and that would also change tool lineups and everything. So in that way, basically steady as she goes, because Wargaming, once the type is balanced more or nerfed, then other tanks will come again, and then you get new lines, and that throws in a new wrench into the whole meta and everything. So I think that with the way that Wargaming is going, they're doing fine. I think that only everyone expected the type to be nerfed before autumn season. That's the only difference.
Yeah, guys, I want you just to understand the fact that we want the tanks to have their own strong sides, yeah, their own like feature, etc. So the strong armor and mobility of Type 71 is its feature. Yeah, I understand that you might feel like a bit uncomfortable with these things to be that dynamic and that armored. So your point is well taken. We'll take it into consideration, and let's wait for new tanks to appear in our tourneys. Thank you.
Okay, I want to bring in Jack because he always has big questions that are always interesting. Come on, Jack, Wild Ones helper.
So you mean talking about Type 71?
No, completely different topic. We've moved on from that.
Okay, what kind of topic do you want?
Whatever topic is whatever one is burning you.
Burning me, definitely.
Probably
I think
seeding.
everyone is expecting what kind of EU Club Wars situation would be, especially with the top 8 and the top 16 and even top 32 as well, with the incoming migrated clans, and it will definitely change a lot with what the final top 8 will be, and how we will expect this season, and also how like the play style will change to kind of fuse the EU meta with the CIS meta together. So this is a highly unpredictable season, and I've been out of the loop for a really, really long time. Although kind of streamed the Blitz Premier Cup, which kind of brought me back into the fold a little bit. But I'm certainly sure that I have missed a lot of stuff regarding what kind of teams you will be expecting in competing for the top 8 now. So I think the discussion should be based on this now.
Okay, so basically the question put to Toylan and Alexander is, with the migration of the servers from former CIS, with some people coming on to EU, is there what's to be expected? Is that basically what you're asking, Jack?
Well, to be honest, I was asking like the club reps for the moment. What kind of teams we will be expecting?
Okay, the clan reps. Okay, so you're looking at the likes of Spitfires, Days, De Silva, etc., etc. So there's the question, guys. What are you expecting with the migration of the CIS server for this tour on EU?
If you don't mind, I will.
By all means, Toylan, by all means.
I understand all of you. I understand all your worries, and I'm worried too because of this situation. It's very hard to predict something about all this migration situation, because there are a lot of people that migrate from Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and other countries, and I don't know how it will interfere on number of teams, how it will interfere on meta. I would like to see it too. And we're trying to do some steps with legionnaires, for example. We try to check some teams before the start of the top 8 or top 16. Of course, maybe we will meet some difficulties in the season, but be sure, if we meet some difficulties, we'll try to fix it in next seasons. Sometimes it's very hard to predict. Actually, it's very sad I can't see the future, but I will try. That's why we will try to fix some legionnaire rule. We will try to increase the number of slots for tourneys, to help all people to live in peace and to show us a great time games.
Just on top of that, before I ask the clan reps to come back in again, on that point, I noticed that you're anticipating quite a significant amount of clans to join this tour though on EU, because you've increased it up to 500 and something slots, I believe.
You mean creation of number of slots for previous skill?
No, yeah, for the previous skill tournament. I think what is it standing at the moment? It's like 512, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, yes. As I for the actually we have some tech not not problems, but it's better to hold it like 500 to 12 teams now. But how I can see, it's enough for now. We have 1 day and we have maybe more than 100 teams now in registration. I'll see tomorrow what will be the situation. You know, I'll continue to follow the situation in real time to understand what's going on, how some teams, you know, are not interested in participation in the biggest tournaments. I just want some coins. But of course, don't worry, we will follow the situation.
And so over to you now, the clan guys, the guys who are taking part in the tour, for Jack's initial question. So, what are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts on how the tour will sort of pan out with the migration and the introduction of a different game style and different meta selection potentially?
My personal thoughts on this, like since the merge, I've never seen like such a level on user. I'm hoping that the win rate ceiling will not be too affected by it. Like I'm hoping, for example, on our part that our place, like our drop in the win rate seeding ranking, will go alongside the number of team increases. Otherwise, I hope like the rule of 2 players from a different region will not affect some teams, prevent them from registering. You know, just so they're not reducing the amount of teams. But how to explain that?
No, I think you explained it. I think you explained it that it doesn't sort of have an adverse impact on the system of win rate seeding that's currently in place.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the only thing I'm hoping, and that goes for like most of the top 8 teams that used to be top 8 in win rate seeding, even top 16 for some, and now they're gonna be even lower because of this amount of new teams that come from the CISR, for example. But I'm happy with that. It brings competition.
You know, I'm a risky person. I know that there are a lot of people who don't like some feeding principles in our tournament system or in our tournament. I would like to have some of your suggestions how it should work. You know, you understand, I can't do it manually. You know, when we have a lot of teams, the system should do it, because it's really hard. Huge brackets, a lot of teams. I can't do it manually. It's doing system. That's why we should find some good automatic system to do some seedings that you want. If you have really some cool suggestions, if you have some pictures how it should look, I would be very happy if you will send me some technical explanations. Don't be shy to send me some of your schemes or how would you see it, okay?
Oh yeah, I think I've kind of had one idea before, and when I have the time to kind of send you the stuff, then I would definitely recommend you what I think.
Okay, but yeah, I will be happy if you will come really with cool scheme, because when somebody come to me and tell that it's bad, it's really hard to understand how to do it good, how to do it in a good way, because we have no the solution. Sometimes, you know, you need to use all the brain of all people that are interested in tournaments to find a better solution. But if you have really working with the it will be cool. It will be cool if you send it to us. Maybe we just didn't find it, and you will help us find it.
How do you measure the coolness of the idea?
I think someone actually. Oh yeah, someone actually wanted me to talk about my idea. Well, I think I kind of have this idea like a year ago. Is it like a year ago, like last year? But basically, it's just kind of simple, but can be quite complicated. But then I think it's just
that's exactly the point. The idea should be simple, easy to realize.
Yes,
very clear.
It should be simple. It's just a little bit mathematically complicated, but the idea should be like kind of simple.
Mathematically complicated.
Well,
7 lists of Excel files with mathematical. Yeah, I'm sorry. No.
No, it was just simple multiplication, so don't worry.
Yeah, so just to clarify the situation, we do not have the possibility sometimes to realize all the ideas that you guys suggest because of lack of resources, because of tech possibilities, etc. So yeah, we are open to any of your ideas, but do not feel like don't feel disappointed when we do not have the possibility to realize the idea whenever it's cool as how to say cool without using abusive language.
My idea was pretty much, just putting it in really simple terms, is to kind of find a way to combine the win rate seeding, or maybe,
You have the priority, yeah.
Okay.
Priority
Yeah,
service.
I will send you my all social media. Send me a suggestion, any.
I can always DM you. That might be like the most direct way to do about that.
Jack sent an idea on Tinder.
No. Well, on simple terms, I was trying to find a way to kind of combine how we do with win rate seeding, or whatever kind of the inherent seeding, the fixed seeding that Wargaming has at the moment, with maybe a kind of a dynamic seeding with the number of curves that each clan has. But like, this is kind of a preliminary idea. Maybe in some day, maybe when I'm free, maybe I can kind of send you the idea in more detail of how we can go about that.
The comp Sen future depends on you. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm happy to talk about seeding.
favorite topic for breakfast.
Has anybody else got a view on this? Yeah. What about you, Manu?
About the innovation, I think more interesting this tournament because we know we have a lot of good teams, good players in Sierra server and server. So I think just make the team for this tournament, and I think will be.
Oh, I lost you there.
Yeah, a lot of new players, good teams. I see first on Blitz Premier Cup, I see some new teams, some new clans, and it's a great thing that because I think when you see
Is it me or you also have
No, I was
problems
about to say
with
you're breaking up there a little bit, Manu, and we're only getting half of it, I'm afraid, mate.
Wait.
Maybe you just write down your point or question in the chat so I can read it out loud, because we cannot hear you well, unfortunately.
As my colleagues hear me every morning and our things,
Flashbacks, yeah. No, I'm sorry, no.
We can't really hear you, my friend. Sorry. There is there is a text channel that you can open, Manu, and it will allow you to. It says just in the top corner there. It allows you to type.
I'll tag him.
So
I don't know why my mic don't function good.
So anybody else got something on that while Manu sorts himself out a little bit? Has anybody else got anything to say on the on that particular topic?
I'm just happy. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Brian made a suggestion earlier today about.
Brian is rolling swarm, by the way.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
I guess Brian doesn't need to be introduced.
You never
Well,
know.
he made a good suggestion. Like one of the things that we deal with the tour matchmaking is that people basically make rerolls in order to get better seeding for the strongest versus weakest kind of thing. And Brian actually had a suggestion about giving like the top 8 from the previous seasons a buy so that they get further into the qualifications without having to deal with the first bunch of teams, so to speak. I
You hear
think
me
that
good
would be
now?
a very good suggestion. Not sure how it would work in.
Not yet.
Yeah, I understand what you're telling, but it's very, complex question. I think it's we need a lot of time to discuss it, the different sections. Because, for example, of course, we can give some 8 places for previous champions or to previous top 8 teams, but I can't prove. Maybe the clan is dead now, or the clan changed to the members at all, and I hope maybe we one day come to the system when we can, fix the teams. Teams, it will be very, very cool. One day, I don't promise something, but for example, I dream about it. I don't know how about you. For me, so this clan system is very cool for the regular battles, for tournaments. Sometimes it have some difficulty to work with it. That's why we can, for example, but if we want to move all the teams for top 8 and move it for second tour or give some additional points. We don't know what the team is, what the members of the clan, and so on and so on and so on. So
Yeah,
difficult, and it's not very easy sometimes to do it technically. I can, for example, do something manually, but it's a lot of time and resources to do it. Sometimes these resources should be invested for some other things to do.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
what I understand Tolian saying, if I may rephrase a little bit and see if I'm understanding correctly, is you're saying that rather than have the seeding benefits be changed based on teams, because players move around, it should be based on players individually, which is why it's been kept as win rate seeding, because win rate is something that can be marked by individual players as opposed to teams. Since not all teams always stick together, there could be different players, and it wouldn't make sense for someone who wasn't on a previous team to receive the benefit that that team earned from a previous season. Is that kind of along the correct thought process?
I like share with you some of my dreams. Sometimes I'm for other sports, disciplines and so on. I see when you have some team tags or organization tags and so on, and you see how it works. They have some at least fixed structure to work with.
Right.
And that when you have fixed structure, fixed team, for example, or the tag, you can implement some solutions like to give them opportunity to participate in the future tournaments or have some leagues or point system or so on and so on. But with current system, it has some blocks. It's not bad. It's not good. The way the World of Tanks Blitz works, and we need to accept it and trying to work with it, and try to do it suitable for us. And that's why I always see how a lot of people, a lot of players, contributors write all their cool solutions, all the cool ideas, and it's very cool to know that a lot of great people care about the tournaments. And sometimes it sounds that you understand that you can't use some of these ideas. We always hear you. We always listen to you. We're always trying to, to connect your ideas with our technical or resources or some solutions. Sometimes we can't do it. Sometimes we can't do it. I'm trying to be honest because I like when you understand why we do something on why we don't do something.
Sure,
when
yeah.
we're honest.
But I think you made.
Well, thank you
I think
for
you
that
made it.
answer.
Sorry, Alex. I think you made a good point earlier because I think a lot of people would like, that stability, but there just isn't that stability to have the sort of clan leagues, so to speak, which would probably make certain things a lot easier. So maybe it's just something that needs to be considered at a clan level rather than at your level to an extent.
I don't know. Maybe we will, involve a lot of teams in tournaments. It will be very cool. We create a cool scene, and we will be able to. Well, developers will look at me and they say, "Of course, we need this instruments."
So just out of interest, has anybody else got anything on that particular topic that they want to ask?
Not this topic, but Manu just said in the chat, I think the migration is a benefit for the tournament. It will be more combat because, as we know, in the CIS, there were a lot of good players. That's what he was trying to say earlier.
That's super true information. However, the CIS gameplay, and especially in tournaments, that differs a lot from the gameplay on European or North American or Asian regions. But I believe that a few players from CIS that might join the teams on Europe region can change the gameplay to the best. Talan, what do you think?
Personally, I think that's a good thing to have the CIS players.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've read chat, that's why. Can you repeat the question? You should always say about your mistakes.
Yeah. So, Talan, attention, Talan. I told that a few players from CIS in the teams that will play on Europe region in our tournaments is a good idea. And they might change the gameplay to the best. So
yeah, truly, of course, for some people you can be you will think or you thought that it can trouble you, it can bring you some troubles, but from the other side, it can help us to grow the scene, to grow the tournament, and to increase the competition, maybe to attract new players. I really would like to see a lot of players, a lot of viewers that are interested in tournaments. From one side, it can be trouble for somebody, but from other side, if you think about it, for me, maybe you will disagree with me, but it's a win.
Okay, I guess that our Spitfires has some kind of point of view on this situation.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the merge between CIS comp players and EU comp players is a good thing because it brings more diversity when it comes to gameplay. For example, on EU we used to more like do relocates, hold positions, whereas on Russian servers they used to have like more diverse lineups, and some of them have like played the game within the first minute and a half of the game. When they rush one side blindly and pray for the best and focus fire, or they rely on skill, and we're mixing kind of all these styles in one region, and we have to play with more styles and adapt more for that particular season. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, just to clarify the situation, the CIS server is not about Russia, but about Ukraine and Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Belarus, and other countries. So let's just understand and take this point into consideration. CIS is not only Russia.
That's a very good point, Alexandra. Well made, because quite a few of us have been trying to sort of get that message out as well.
You fused it, my friend.
Yeah. but just expanding on what you said, though, Alexandra, earlier, it's the same for both, because you are right. The players and the gameplay on the CIS server does differ to that on both NA and on EU. And so those guys who are migrating across who've never played on the EU server, and we have had some CIS players play on EU tournaments before on their EU accounts, they are going to be facing it off against EU teams that have also a different style of play. So both sides are sort of in this uncharted territory to an extent.
Yeah, totally right. And I guess that even if some of our CIS top players, for example, Ufuk Josh, I'm not your favorite player, I guess. Yeah, even if they join any team on Europe servers, he might need a lot of time to train to play smoothly with each other. So it's not like you just join the team and you win the region championship. Yeah, it needs a lot of time. It needs a lot of efforts and a lot of communication. So you guys all know that team gameplay is not just playing a random battle.
But to be fair, OpenJAWS has actually been playing on the EU server for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, we know.
And has won.
Of course. Why not? But it's not Ufuk Josh who won the Europe tournament, but
It's
the
the whole
team,
team. Yeah.
the team where the Ufuk Josh were present. It's important. Yeah, it does not mix the things. It's not one Ufuk Josh winning all the tournaments on all regions.
Yet.
But the replay we posted on social medias was beautiful.
But that's what's going to make this, especially for the EU, I think, what's going to make it slightly more exciting this season, because we've got the EU style of strategic type of gameplay, and as Spitfire says, relocating and rotating around the map, etc., etc. And then we have the CIS style, which can be quite aggressive in on some maps. I mean, I remember watching some of the streaming some of the teams in previous Blitz Cups, thinking, "Wow!" I mean, 7 tanks all through one map. It's just brilliant. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Who will adjust CS players to Europe style of gameplay or European players to the CIS style of gameplay? I guess that CS players must adjust to European style of gameplay. Guys, by the way, what do you think? Well, clan leaders who are present here, it's interesting to hear your position.
Well, I've given mine already, so it's up to the others. I don't know.
And we do have plenty of others there.
What question would you like answered?
So let the question be like, would you accept as a player from CS region with like a good tournament experience with perfect statistics, etc., to play with you in autumn season when your goal is to be in the grand finals?
Yes, of course.
Of
I'm thinking about like many teams. So BPS has taken Ufpanjash. APA has taken
BPS, right?
Yep. APA has taken Dark Time, most likely. We'll play with them.
True.
Like I think most international teams, they will recognize some players from CIS are good for the team and will play with them. Then again, we can also see like Pink Team, which came to EU, so they have a few Russians and a lot of Ukrainians. So I think the upcoming season will have like some EU teams with some Russians, so there's some mixing, and some Ukrainian / CIS team, or however you want to call it.
Yep. I think one of them will be Quick. That is like a combination of like the Ukrainian as well, and also Russian, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's just point them like players from CS servers without mentioning the nationality because we might be wrong sometimes. Yeah, so Days, how do you communicate with Ufmanjas, for example?
I don't play with him, so I don't communicate with him. With Darktime though, I do play. And he speaks perfectly fine English.
Yeah,
So I mean, as long as CIS players speak English, I don't see what reason we'd have against them coming to play with our teams, international teams at least.
Yeah, so will I see BPS in the grand finals of our autumn season in Blitz Ultimate Cups?
I guess we'll see.
Okay. I wish you
Not
best of
unlikely.
luck. Best of luck.
Before,
Yeah,
No.
as far as I know,
go on.
I've followed some trainings, etc., from BPS. OpenJarge also speaks some English, and like
He's quite good in English, yeah.
from my experience, like it seems like English is not that popular in Russia as it is here, but still they are able to communicate. I think there are quite a few Russians now also, like Nick Ace and Slubina Lisa are also playing on BPS. Sometimes there is someone just translating and it has to work like that. We have some, there are some Eastern Europeans on BPS as well who have learned Russian in school, but it works somehow.
Yeah, so yeah, I understand that we might have like some challenging things in communication when some players do not speak English perfectly, but you can find a solution, use translator. Tilan, I want to ask you, what are your expectations about the autumn season grand finals and CS players?
My expectations is to have a lot of great highlights. I will terrorize all my sports players to send me all highlights because we need to increase our social media. That's why to be prepared to send me all your best moves, and I'm sure it will be cool.
Excellent. We just got a question here quickly from 34, who is one of the streamers on NA. He can't join us unfortunately because it's that time of day and he's a bit busy. But he asks, especially for Toylan, what is the most challenging part of organising the tournaments? That's his question.
The hardest things, the challenging things, it's to balance between your technical possibilities and the desires of the community. For example, me, I want to help community to give something that they want to have, but sometimes I can't do it. For example, I had a really big message, hateful message from the player. He gave a lot of bad words, some Tony decisions, and he started his message like printing and picking on your wall, and I printed it, and I can see it now. Sometimes you meet some hate speeches or some hate to you, and it can be hard and competitive. But it's cool when you can solve some problems and find some understanding from the players.
Excellent. So I hope that answered your question 34. There you go. So who's next on the hit list? Amunet, come on. Throw a question out.
My turn again.
Oh, sorry, you had your turn at the beginning, didn't you? Sorry, it's 9-0.
Yeah, I did.
9-0, sorry, 9-0.
There's plenty of questions in the channel, though.
Yes, there are. And we're going to go to those. What I'm going to do, get 9-0 in, because he's going to be streaming and he's got some questions. Then we'll do some questions from the channel after that. Paul. Paul. I don't think he's there.
Oh, let's go
Yeah,
play
I'm
together.
there.
He's back. There we go. Over to you, Paul. Come on. That's 9-0, by the way. Those of you don't
My
you should know him.
questions now.
There you go. Your questions now, yes.
Maybe some question regarding like streams. Like last year we've had NA streams also, like his Royal Fatness streaming EU. And how was the experience with that? Is it going to be like that again, or is there anything about that already?
Okay, I understand your question. involvement in tournaments, the tournament audience is really cool. I can tell you, be sure. The tournament audience is very cool. Yeah, they're very involved. They understand a lot about the game, and they play really well. But it's not a really huge audience. And we have, for example, when we have some streams, we need to involve as much viewers as we can. And sometimes we try and experimentize, to involve some viewer faces to understand what audience, I repeat, no streamers or no tournament players that we respect a lot, but, a lot of people that don't know a lot about tournaments. Can you imagine all this audience? They don't know about tournaments. They don't understand what's going on, and they don't know the faces. And you have it's like A/B tests. And sometimes you're trying to involve some people. You're trying to do some decisions to try to involve some people. It was an answer not about Israel fatness, for example, on you. It was about all position at all. Sometimes we're trying to experiment, or we're trying to do the best.
Yep.
Is the answer.
Can understand.
I understand sometimes when you send some when you disagree with something. I can understand 100%. We always listen. Read all the messages. Don't worry, and sometimes even print it. I print everything. Don't worry.
At the same moment, Talyana is having a look at the wall with a
I
lot of
told her about
printed messages from Discord. Right, that's true.
Yeah, we're getting there's quite a lot of questions out there. Here's one again, unfortunately for Toyland. This is actually from YouTube. Will Wargaming ever consider opening up a tour for PC players?
Oh, PC players.
I want to vote for this question, Talyana.
Why? No, actually, I have it in plans. To do it, we need some research. How many PC players we have, to understand the audience, from what regions. For example, you understand, I'm sure you know the situation, for example, with Greek tournaments. We have some time when we can have tournaments because there will be lack of teams. And there's also situation with PC tournaments. I hope in the future, maybe next year, we'll research the situation. We will understand how much players we'll have. Maybe we'll add something, but I can't promise, of course. But I want to understand the situation with the PC players, because sometimes I see these questions.
Okay.
These questions are all from me.
For you.
I want tournaments on PC as well.
We will participate together.
Equal rights to PC and mobile devices.
Oh, there you go.
I wanted to clarify. Of course, we will not mix, PC tournaments with mobile touch tournaments. If we will do some PC tournaments, it will be for PC. I understand, that this system control system is very different.
You mean that if we have PC tournaments, we will be split from touch devices?
Yeah. We'll not mix it. Add PC users for touch. We maybe maybe some tournaments only for PC players. Like additional option, not accept, not to delete something, but to add something.
I see. I guess that touch players left the chat.
Oh, there you go. That question actually came from Search for Spock, who I believe plays on the NA server. So hopefully that answered your question. That it is being considered. It's just a lot more work.
I think we've had PC and touch off-season tournaments in the past, right? That was one of my first tournaments that I actually played, like on semi-professional level.
I guess we're talking about the main tournaments of the season, where PCs are not considered at all. Yes, Leanne. PCs should play tournaments as well.
I see Alexandra in person. That's why it's very scary. Maybe
Yeah,
she will hit
yeah.
me.
So, guys that want to play on PCs, you know that you have my support. I'm with you. Yeah.
There you go. Hopefully that satisfies those out there who ask that question. Another question. This one's from Sebel, and it's actually more for you, I think, Alexandra. When can we expect another Twister offline tournament, and where can we expect it? Then he's put in brackets, can it be Warsaw?
Fuses, my dear friends, that was a question when I tried to post the answer in the live chat on your questions for live stream channel on Discord. However, I had to wait for 5 minutes.
Oh, dear me, it's on slow mode.
Yeah, slow mode, yeah.
Oh, dear
I
me,
have
Fizzy!
Yeah, Fizzy helped me, so no need to worry now. Guys, a lot of things depends on the situation in the world. Yeah, sometimes it's simply impossible to bring players from all over the world to one location to make offline event. You know that we love offline events. We love to meet players in real life, to talk, to play some battles and Blitz, to make this atmosphere real. I miss it so much. I guess the last time we had offline was 2019. Amanet, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you were unfortunately right. It's way too long ago.
So that was the last time we had offline, and I miss it so much, guys. I want these times to come back, and I hope that one day the world will be safe and sound for all of us to make the offline event Twister, Tank Fest, just community event real. So yeah, fingers crossed and praying for the best for this world.
Yeah, and we will have some plans. I will have more gray hairs. How funny!
Yeah, I think it's a fair point though. But I think it's a fair point that you make there, Alexandra. That it's not because Wargaming doesn't want to do the Twister offline. It's just that there are external factors outside of people's control that sort of make it incredibly difficult.
For example, we discussed it for this year. We discussed it for this year. But geopolitical situation is not very cool. You need to some visas, some to bring the players here to it's and you can be sure and you can spend a lot of resources to it, and after that you will understand that you need to cancel everything, and sometimes you need to do hard solution, not to do something online, for example.
To make long story short, Blitz Ultimate Cups will be played online this year, and let's make them hot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, throwing it back out there, who's next?
Fujit?
Yep. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, Falcon, yes. Falcon, are you there?
Hello.
Oh yeah,
Can you hear
okay,
me?
you can hear me. I was waiting for an answer. I'm sorry. I hope this question hasn't been asked before. I would like to refer to the introduction of new tech-free tanks around the time when the autumn season usually takes place. So we've seen it with the Kranwagen. There are signs that the 9.4 update with potentially the Minotauro, the new tier 10 Italian
we did have that question earlier, mate, to be fair.
Okay.
It was the opening question.
Yeah, Falcon, to make long story short, the Italian tank destroyers will appear in 9.4. However, the whole branch will be rebalanced. The tanks that you saw on open test or in stream, they were a bit overpowered, so they will be rebalanced, and the attack characteristics you saw were non-final at all. So we'll
my question was generally yeah, the question was generally about new lines getting introduced right around that time when the big tournament of the season happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys don't have anything to do with that. It's obviously the development team who are developing those tanks. But anyways, have a nice stream, guys. I don't want BPS to wait any longer for us to train against them. So
Thank you,
have a
Volkan.
wonderful evening.
No, thank
Bye.
you.
Good luck. Great. Love to your clan.
Thank you, Alexandra.
So, I mean, Spitfires, you had a question that you put into the Discord server for questions. Did you want to ask that question now? Okay, you can't hear.
He's eating.
He's probably eating. Got another
Yeah,
one
I think so.
from YouTube. This is from Moo Cow, and again, it's probably for you, Tolan. Previously, we've seen some fun mode tournaments like Mad Games. Will these make a comeback, for example, or Gravity Tour? Will they make a comeback at any time?
Yeah. We can't add all the mode tournaments in one moment. We are, testing something, trying to understand will it work? Will it work in the correct way? In the future, we have plans to do some fun modes tourneys in different modes, quick tourneys, maybe 2vc2, 3v3, and so on. Yes. I can give you, calendar because we have autumn season.
Mm-hmm.
We have to think about it, but after autumn season, we will maybe organize some fun mode tourneys.
There you go. Hopefully, Mookout, that's answered your question. So, start again. Aminette, over to you.
Oh dear. I don't know. I don't quite know what to ask at this stage because there's some things that I feel should not be discussed here. There's some things that are not too related. And I have seen a lot of questions about Ghost Factory and Hellas, about whether or not they'll be like permanently removed. So maybe I can just ask that instead on behalf of other people.
And
May I ask one more additional question to the previous one? Guys, what do you think about Faust in tournaments?
I love it.
Okay.
It's hard to spectate, but
About
it's very fun
spectating is
to
awful.
commentate on.
But regarding the gameplay, not spectating, but playing this game in tournaments.
Well, I think we should put that to the top players, yeah.
About maps, it was like sudden decision, because we've seen that a lot of people don't like some maps. We did some voting, and we've seen that people really don't like this map. It had really awful, rating.
Well,
Which Hellas?
Hellas and Ghost Factory. It was the worst.
Ghost Factory and only two or some?
No. You can find it. Advertising of imported mode tournaments channel. You can find the rating, and I thought that it would be cool to delete it from the autumn season. I don't know. Actually, I have no decision about future tournaments.
I will delete the post and let's download the Faust map, please.
Maybe we will repeat, some voting. Maybe we will discuss it. Maybe I don't know. But we are open.
Okay, taking Hellas map for example, you guys feel uncomfortable playing it?
I don't, like, in my opinion, I don't feel uncomfortable playing it. I think that some top players get bored playing it because there's like one way that is the best way to play, is what a lot of top players seem to agree on Hellas. But I personally am a believer in map diversity. I think that the more maps that we have available, the better, because it enables different playstyles. I think it was Alexander who asked about Faust. Faust is a very fast-paced game a lot of the time, which is really, really cool. as compared to a map like Castilla, which is a slower paced game. And I think that being able to win on different kinds of maps is what truly shows that a team is good. So, in my opinion, I don't think that any of the maps needed to be banned, but I do think that some people get bored playing on some maps like Hellas, where there's a very strong way to play, and it's hard to take other approaches. I like trying different approaches because it keeps it interesting. But yes, that is, I think, the main dissent against Hellas is that there's one strong way to play, and it's hard to go about beating that playstyle.
I see. So, are there any maps that you want to play in tournaments, but they are not present in tournaments?
Can I say something about this?
Go ahead.
Right.
Jack, of course.
Yes. So yeah, I've always enjoyed kind of following Yamato Harbor, but I'm not sure if this is echoed by a lot of players because sometimes it's on some days the competitive players love the Yamato Harbor, but on some other days they don't like it. So I'm not sure like the consensus about this map, but I personally kind of enjoyed following the map, and I think yeah, there are some very good gameplays, and I love to see more of Yamato Harbor in the future. But then there were Canyon and also Himmelsdorf, which was reintroduced, I believe, last year's summer season, and I don't think people like those two maps a lot. But I'm not sure if they will be reintroduced. But Yamato Harbor will be a map that I would like to see coming back.
Tulan, I have a suggestion. You're ready to listen from my suggestion?
No.
Of course, you're not
No.
ready. Yeah, as usual. Let's create a tournament in the honor of Wild One's helper, and all the battles will be played on Yamato Harbor map.
And no Camp Steel, obviously.
I'm serious for Amanat tournaments.
No.
Of course. I'm kidding, of course, Tulan. Don't look at me like this.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry to interrupt.
No, feel free.
No, I'll be happy to know about the competitive players' view about Yamato Harbor, whether we should bring the map back to the map pool.
And do you have any does about the players' opinion about Yamato Harbor map?
Yeah, I
No,
think
we deleted it. What do you want to know?
But actually, we deleted this map from the tournaments.
Yeah.
Players didn't want. Players didn't want to play in it.
Jack, you see, players didn't want to play this map, so we'll be playing with each other on our PCs in tournament on Yamato Harbor map. There will be two of us.
But I mean, it might be a map that is kind of worth considering getting back, but I'm not sure. Like the general view.
Why do you think that this map is worthy to be present in our tournaments?
I mean, there are like two kind of main areas that is worth watching for, and I think this map shows a lot of interesting rotations and also interesting positions that some other maps might. I mean, similar to some maps, but then unique to like for Yamato Harbor, and yeah, and it's kind of interesting to follow in my opinion.
Spitfires, I want to know your opinion about the Yamato Harbor map and tournaments.
I think Spit is eating, by the way.
Days can answer
Bon
that.
Days, what's your opinion about the Yamato Harbor map and our tournaments?
I've never played it, so I couldn't tell, but I'd assume it's not a map I'd like to. You know, I've played it in like, the small tournaments where you have like only a small part of the map. So I think this is fine because you have like smaller teams, but in 7 versus 7, I don't think it's a map I'd like to see. Because it would resemble Hellas. Actually, I'm not sure, you removed the map that was like a temple map.
Lost
Asian
Temple.
style? Yeah, Lost Temple.
Yeah.
I think if you'd rework that, it could be interesting to see.
In high tier tournaments.
in high tier tournaments. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Adding to that, Mirage is also another map that I want to see reworked and maybe maybe incorporated in the map pool. It resembles a little bit of Oasis Palms to me, but not sure how it will be after the rework. But it's going to be interesting because it's quite an open map actually. Unless you go to like the waterfall area, then that's a little bit different. So it's going to be interesting, I would say as well.
Yeah, and according to my experience in Wargaming, Thailand is mm, the most. I think the person that who takes the player appearance into consideration, like mostly. Maybe you just create another vote on the maps that should be present in tournaments. If everything is clear to you, let us know.
Yeah, that would be cool indeed. I don't think a lot of people want Canyon or maybe him. Well, I'm not sure about Himbo still, but like include those 3 maps that were like removed a long time ago.
Yeah, but as far as I understand, your map pool is based on the surveys as well, right?
Sorry,
No?
I didn't get you.
As it was a question to Talan. Talan, how do you pick the maps for the tourneys?
It was based on the opinion of the players.
So players pick the maps they want to play in the tournaments, right?
Not like they picked it, but when they're very angry about the maps, you're like, okay, it's time to remove it. But of course, we can return to discussion what we should add. But after autumn season, please.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Of course.
About like, I have a question about like how accurate the sample is of the voting that was done, because I think if I remember correctly, the Important About Tourneys channel on the official Blitz server is not limited only to people who have been verified as playing in competitive tournaments. Only people who have those roles can type there, but I'm pretty sure that people who aren't actually part of the competitive scene can still vote. And I wonder if there were votes mixed in that really, like from casual tournament players that don't really have anything to do with competitive tournaments.
The first step was when I started this voting to understand the whole position of all tournament players. And you understand, if the person came to this channel, it means that he's not random. Maybe in future, if you decide to implement the decision to the serious tournament scene, level, we can add voting for only, for example, 20 players. Of course. Something like that. We can discuss it later and find a nice solution. It was like, first step, just understand. And I really sent this vote for the person that deal with maps. And he thought it was very interesting. And after that, if you remember, I asked your opinion about why you decide this map or you don't decide this map. Because the person that did the maps, it was very interesting. I don't know what he will going to do with this information, of course, but we're always trying to listen to your opinion.
For sure, and it's amazing that we're able to give feedback on that at all. So we're very grateful for that on behalf of the whole player base. Thank you. It's very nice.
Imagine that we have a separate map that we don't have in random or racing battles or in game modes, but the only map we have in tournaments.
I can imagine the tank that we have only in tournaments.
Me too. Sweet dreams.
I'm made of this. Who we are to disagree.
Who we are. Amanet, what is the hardest map to play in tournaments? Except Castilia. Camp Castilia, I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, I don't like Halles either. I don't like Ghost Factory because you can't spectate there because every time you try and fly into the factory, it jumps to above the factory, but that's like purely technical.
Are you talking from the point of view of a spectator?
Of commentator, yes.
Yeah, a spectator and commentator.
And I don't like Halles because it's pretty small and there's a lot of open fire lines, so it's not less, I don't know, tactical to watch, so to speak. It looks more brawly, more campy, and then you get sort of like the same issues with Camp Stella, but in a smaller map. I like the maps where it's more like you're not sure what they're gonna do. They're basically waiting each other out, and then suddenly you see a sort of push coming one way or the other. Those are the maps that I like, and I have that with Faust, and I have that with Vineyards, and maps like that, where it's a little more, I don't know, a little more cover in different kind of ways. As a spectator, as a commentator, I prefer to see the tactical gameplay rather than the pushy brawly kind of gameplay. And I feel that Halles invites more brawly gameplay rather quickly.
I have one more question. Maybe someone knows the answer. Why Future does not accept my invitation to the platoon?
Oh, you sent me an invitation. I haven't seen it. Where
Yes, I want to play a few battles with you.
There we go. I've got it. I've got it. Found it.
Okay. Which tier should we play?
I don't mind.
Overpowered Type 71 or what? I have Concept 1B, by the way.
Then we can play whatever tier you want. If you want to go into tier 10, we can do Concept 1Bs. Let's do Concept 1Bs.
Now, let's for example, Whalex pick us the tier of vehicle.
The tier? But what are you going to pick, Whale Legs?
Yeah. Whalex.
Has he gone?
I'm choosing the tier that you guys are playing.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. How about tier 9? I think tier 9 is very underrated.
Tier 9.
Good option, yeah. So let's play a few tier 9 battles.
Oh,
Tier 9 is so strange to play tier 9. It's not tier 8. There's lots of tanks and not tier 10.
So, guys on YouTube, I'll play that then. Let's go into that, shall we?
Yeah, guys, do you pick tier 9 vehicles for the tourneys?
It's a good question.
The first question should be, do you play tourneys?
I don't think they pick tier 9s. Jack or 9-0, have you ever seen, because you guys have played up in tournaments as well, have you ever seen, oh look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at the stars going round and everything. Have you ever seen a tier 9 in a top tournament?
Yes. Well, for me, I mean, my team got humiliated by some tier 9 tanks once. So
really?
let's not go into that. But yes, and obviously, like the serious tournaments, the high level tournaments, tier 9 is banned. But like in like the quick tournaments, it's not uncommon to see tier 9s because people want to play that tank for fun for sometimes. So I mean, some teams do it. I mean, it's not as uncommon as you think.
Wow. There you go.
Yes. I'm not sure. Maybe I know disagree.
I have a question here, and to be fair, Chris Fogel asks me this question so many times. When are we going to see crew voices in Swedish?
One day. That is my answer. One day, yeah. Guys, the situation with the gun sounds, with the crew voices is not that simple as you might think. So it's very, very complicated in-game process, and we need like a lot of time to implement something, to change something. Yeah, I think that the gun sounds that we have implemented um, in one of the recent updates is a good example how we um, face difficulties in these kind of updates. Yeah, so it's not like World of Tanks on PC when they have a lot of resources, a lot of people, and a lot of time to implement some feature. Um, it's like a totally different story for World of Tanks Blitz, and it might take some time for us to implement something new. Um, Gun sounds is also a big story for World of Tanks Blitz because it also depends on the device performance on a lot of factors. So yeah, Swedish crew voices. Yeah, we know that you want this feature to be implemented. Um, According to terms and conditions, yeah, I don't know what to say. One day, I hope that one day it will be present in Blitz.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question, Chris, because I know you asked me so many times. Because he does. He asks me so often. But
Can you imagine his plan and answering questions and asking questions?
trying to play. it's not always the best.
No, very good. Very good.
Well, Lex, one question to you. What wrong did we made? So, what has happened? So you picked tier 9 for me and Fusion to play Bloodborne.
They did.
I just think that tier 9 is a little bit underappreciated. I think that people kind of see it as just a tier that people grind through, but I really like tier 9 because it gives you a lot of opportunities. You're at a little bit of a disadvantage, whether that be HP or firepower, but you get to practice against stronger tanks at tier 10. But some tanks that are strong at tier 9 also get to face weaker vehicles at tier 8. So sometimes
Best tier or best tank on tier 9?
I'll take a lot of heat for this one, but I really love the Type 61. It's the tier 9 of the Japanese mediums. It has a very accurate gun and it maneuvers very cleanly, and I love the Type 61. But a lot of people don't.
Okay, well, I'll go into the Type 61.
I like it.
Acceptable. Do you stream the gameplay?
Yes, I do. They are watching us playing. Yes. By the way, for those on YouTube, you just saw that we just had a really good game. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we were bottom tier as well. Bottom tier 2.
Imagine.
Just be happy that it's not me, your bottom mate. You know.
Oh, Dylan, don't say like this. Dylan, is it possible for our game to have tournaments only on tier 9 vehicles?
We have professional tournaments.
What do you think about it? So, you know, we have not like a great variety of tier 9 vehicles in the game, none premium nor searchable ones.
Actually, it's for me. I'm not a perfect player, but for example, I play only 9 and 10 tier.
But when you play tier 9 vehicles, you face mostly tier 10 vehicles, and it's like a bit challenging to face them.
But objects 752 is quite nice to challenge it.
So you love challenges?
Of course, I'm a Tony manager.
Okay, I see. Guys, which tier is the most comfortable for tourney battles for you? None? I see.
Which tanks? Is that
Which
was
tier?
that the
Which
question?
tier? Yeah, I mean like
Oh.
tier 8, tier 10.
I think most people enjoy tier 10, but it's fun to play tier 8 or tier 6 sometimes. It would be cool if we could see
the
some
57 got me.
tiers.
Damn it.
Unfortunate. It would be cool to see some off-tier tournaments. I've heard that idea tossed around sometimes, such as a tier 9 tournament or a tier 7 tournament. Some of those, or especially tier 7, is very diverse, and there would certainly be a lot of smashers, annihilators, and other event tanks that get thrown around, but it might be fun to try at some point.
You appreciate the idea of playing like overpowered sometimes tier 7 vehicles, like smasher or anything.
Yes.
I'll see. Just for fun, yeah.
At least this should remain an event, in my opinion.
In that regard, I would actually really like the tier 9 tournaments, because I think tier 9 is actually the best balanced tier out of all. There are no huge guns and no OP premium tanks, or rarely.
752.
Exactly.
Yeah, just the new release there, but until recently it was actually pretty free of that as the only tier.
I agree there. 752 is quite a bit broken, but before that, it was a very lovely tier. I didn't venture in there more that often because in tier 10 you're always top tier, which is always a pro. And tier 8 is just a little bit less dire because you don't need tier 10. So it's also it's definitely an underrated tier.
Moving up a tier, I like that. We just had a game and we got quite abused by players who didn't play as good as us. But there we go. I thought we did well. I thought we did well there, Alexander. I thought we did well.
Of course. Unfortunately, you like streamed the battles.
No, we did fine.
Should you just explain that I did like 75, 75? I'm not mistaken.
Doesn't matter. You cap you cap the bases.
Yeah.
It's a supremacy game. It's about teamwork. It's not always about damage.
Yeah. Puget, you are not only your boss lawyer, but mine as well.
Well, we try to explain a lot of the time because a lot of players think that it's all about going alone and doing all the damage. And realistically, it's not.
I have a suggestion. So we have a lot of clan representatives here. I would like to hear the one wish from each and every clan representative to the Italian. To Italian, yeah. Maybe if you want to see some feature or idea to be realized in World of Tanks Blitz, maybe it's high time to discuss it right now.
I have an idea. Like, I don't know if you remember the first, like before the avatars were added to the game, there was this cool feature during the Blitz Cup where people could buy containers from the top 8 clans and have them as a kind of avatar, banner behind their nickname. I think this should be a thing, and they like for this tournament especially, and there should be like numbers and percentages for who supports which team in the tournament. That could be a cool thing, so you can have like guesses of who's gonna win, who's the most likely, who's seen as the top contender, and I think that could be interesting.
Bigger community engagement for sure. I really missed that. I remember when I believe there was a time when, at least on NA server, there was Pramo, Straight, but like there were a bunch of avatars. I remember that as well, and I think that got me very interested in tournaments. I think that really helps engage the community to try and make them feel like they're a part of it. They can cheer on their team as if it's the same as some professional sports game, like they're cheering for their football team or something like that. So I agree. That's cool.
How's it working with the avatars? It's only like we've had the team-specific avatars only a few times, as far as I remember. Not on every tournament. What's the rule there? Is it like every Blitz Cup only, or how?
Yeah, as I remember you, as I understand, you speak about mechanics when the fans get all the avatars of Blitz Cup teams, you know, some a major team, and they can use it and support the team they fan of. Yes. It's this mechanics use some, you know, resources. That's why we use it only for the major tournament of the year. I maybe this year we'll have it too. But you know, it's a month before it. That's why I just can't tell you like we can do it. I can promise you. I'm joking.
Well,
But we discuss it.
on that subject, though, just out of interest, I know it's sort of we got the Grilla raid camo. Okay, is there any plans to sort of have, you know, special camos that represent winners?
If you said, I get a question. It depends on the performance of the certain team on a certain map. So if we see something like crazy, something phenomenal, why not?
Absolutely.
I think that will make our, for example, our designers to create something special, camouflage or a sign on the map for the teams that made this situation special for the tournaments. But there should be something special. Rate is a great example.
Yeah.
Creating a special situation on in the tourney on a special map.
If I may, Alexandra, you asked the question, panel reps, what would we, if we had a wish, what would we ask for? Actually, I was thinking about what they do for basically Clan Wars. They bring out, I think, some kind of camos, and the clans can like change the camos a little bit, and everyone wears the camo. Like the whole team wears the same camo during this Clan War event. And I think that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Phil, are you here? I think Phil is not here, you know. The WOTB tournament manager was here and listened us for some time. I will send him.
Tournament manager from WOTB?
Yes.
Present here in this chat?
But not the chat here, but he watched the stream.
Oh, he was in the stream.
I will write him, Phil. Your converse are cool.
So
I agree that the feature is cool.
What was your point? Sorry, one more time.
So like we can have all teams have one specific camo. So maybe top 4, all teams are wearing one camo, like one different camo per team. So basically all teams are wearing their own camos they made themselves. So you can have like maybe some default model, and every team like kind of changes it to its own fashion.
What do you think, Trana?
Yeah, here, as I understand, as remember, we have like clan avatars, you know, after Blitz Cup, yes?
Yep.
And you're speaking about the camas for clans. We will think about it. I will write it right now on my note.
That's an interesting idea, though. The teams having different camos. That's interesting.
Like a Chico.
Yeah, I think it would make it more watchable too. As a spectator, it would be much easier to see. I mean, it obviously pops up with, you know, green and red, and you can see the different tanks. But when everyone has a different camo too, it would make it more uniform if everyone had the same camo. Might be more interesting to watch. I remember watching tournaments where both teams had either the professional red or professional blue, or is it professional orange? I'm not sure.
I think I'm blue.
I don't have it. But that makes it more interesting for me to watch as a spectator, but I don't know about other people.
So up to you. Up to you and your players, yeah.
It's, you know, I'm not drawing comments. Yeah, actually, of course, I was just I like to joke a lot. Sometimes I can't stop.
Plan today, plan tomorrow, ordering 100 camouflages for tournament season.
I have a question.
Of course.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting one. I mean, it's going to be about Mayan ruins. May not be very well. It's a little bit related to tournaments as well, because I remember spectating Mayan ruins. The spectator height
Swap
is
around.
quite low. Yeah. So, are there any plans to kind of increase that spectator height so we don't kind of bump into those buildings on Mayan ruins and also have a wider view as well?
As far as I know, we don't have such plans yet.
Right.
Unfortunately, Jack, I'm sorry.
Oh. It's okay. No, I was wondering because like it was unusually low compared to other maps. I mean, my ruins is like the map that is, yeah, that I kind of struggle with when spectating. But yeah, but I understand it's kind of difficult to kind of increase the height.
We might discuss this topic with our level designers. But
No. I was asking Wargaming like Alexandra and Alexandra maybe about whether the kind of the spectator height of my ruins will be increased.
He means the
I
size
will
of
do
the
my
map.
best to fix this is issue for you, but don't expect a lot from me.
Okay. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah, it's not like a major problem. I mean, if it's not on the
What is a major problem for you?
me, well, to be honest, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a minor problem. It's just a little bit of a nuisance. It's not like game breaking. It's just yeah, will be good to have a wider view on my ruins if you see what I mean.
Yeah, my ruins is the main problem.
May I suggest something also?
Of course.
We have an esports section in the shop. I've been thinking, again, taking example on what PC, they have a currency for top players. I think they call it fame points. Could we have the same thing or similar thing added to Blitz in which, because I'm thinking top players mostly have like almost full like accounts with almost anything. So I think most top players or top 8 players don't really mind for credits or premium days. So having a currency which enables players and top 8 players to receive what they want or buy what they want in the esports section would be interesting.
What you want to buy?
I don't.
I mean, I understand. As I said, that Tony players, the best players for me. Sorry. I understand that your account has a lot of records and so on. What do you want to buy with this, for example, special proxy?
For instance, some players might be missing professional orange or professional blue, and maybe you could put some, I don't know what price on the camo, and so if the player already has professional orange, then he can buy professional blue. Or if he's missing this tier 10 premium tank and it's the only one missing, he can use his points to buy this premium tank. Or some small amount of gold, for example.
Maybe we can think about it. You know, to do it, we need to have some stuff to sell there to be enough. Not only, you know, only to come as professional blue, professional orange. This section, I understand your point. We will think about it. I hope in the future we will, you know, develop all these sports stuff, commerce, and so on to sell there. Maybe. I mean, I wanted, or why we were talking about it, that I think maybe we can develop this idea. I absolutely 100% agree that you know, because As I understand, sometimes we provide, some gold in prizes, and Tony players like, why do we need it? We have everything. We need something special. You understand that the needs of the tournament players to have something special because we have a lot of things. I hope in the future we will add something
Something special avatar with Tran photo.
Italian.
With future Tamonet, yeah, photos.
Yeah, we will also be, all the centers with spectators.
Not avatars, camouflage.
Camouflage.
Oh my
Profile
god, ladybug
background.
camouflage.
Yeah. Could you just imagine the camouflage, the war paint with your photos?
No, I'd like it a bit more general because I don't think I'm nearly important enough to have something with my logo. But I would like a ladybug camouflage.
No ladybug, but your photo.
No, then no.
Yeah. Imagine a birthday surprise for you.
Oh dear.
Wargaming
I'd run away
implemented.
screaming probably.
No! Yeah, unfriend me from all social networks.
No. No, I'd never do that.
Yeah, of course we're kidding. Yeah.
I was
Oh.
wondering if we could retouch for a minute. I'm not sure that we were able to discuss it sufficiently before on the scheduling of major releases of new tanks. So to reflect on a past season, I believe it was last fall, when the 60TP was released. It was released either just before or during that season, which made a huge change to the meta because the 60TP was very strong at the time. And it still continues to be strong, though not to the same extent. But is there any way that we can have the scheduling of those big updates be a little bit more prior to the season so that teams can become acquainted with the new tanks and any possible meta changes?
How much time do you need?
I don't know that I can speak for everyone, but rather than a few weeks, maybe a month, or if we had changes immediately after a season concludes, so let's say summer season ends, and then you have the changes, people would be able to practice in all of the off time to lead up to the fall season. And then if a change needed to be made, you could change right after fall season, and people would be able to practice all the way up until the winter season or something like that. I think that is something that I've heard people ask about as well. I don't know if that would be a possibility, but I think the scheduling is kind of backwards. Rather than have a huge change after teams have practiced for months in a certain meta and then the meta completely changes and they have to adapt to it at the last moment, it would be nice if we could have the changes right after a tournament concludes and then be able to build up to working with the new meta before the new season starts. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that in this case, from a company's perspective, what Wargaming does works because tours are mostly used as a way to showcase the game. So if there's a new line and basically you tour players are forced to play that tank because at the moment it's the most meta, or it's new, or it's too strong and everything, it showcases that tank and that in turn makes people grind it. So while for a tour and player perspective, I fully agree with you that this is not how we want it. I do understand why Wargaming does it.
That's fair. I think that every new tank should get its time in the sun. I'm excited to see what the Minotauro may be able to be used for. I think that the 60TP was very exciting gameplay. Even though the MRX were not like the most exciting thing to see for the players who get MRX, it was exciting for viewers to see how games could be swayed by MRX. And so I do think that from like a business perspective,
well, Alexandra.
I
thought you had that tank there. Sorry, we were talking a game.
You're good. No worries.
I thought she had. I thought you had that tank then. I really thought you had him. Unlucky.
But I I just wonder if we could still get the same showcase. So let's say right after summer season of 2021, the 60 TP was introduced.
Mhm.
That the fall season still would have included the 60 TP, and it would still get the same amount of screen time as it would have otherwise. It might not be as immediate, and so maybe that's what you're saying is like it's good to have it be immediate because from a business perspective, you want to see people grinding it as soon as it's released. That makes sense. It's not the most convenient for the players, I don't think. So maybe just a little bit longer beforehand, maybe a month before the season, we could get the release of the new tank, and then we have a few extra weeks to deal with it and adjust to the new meta.
Just to
Mm,
clarify, I do agree with you because I don't like it either. But yeah, I
So,
do get why.
for example, we plan to release the new tech line in, let me say, March. In,
Okay.
for example, April, we have big tournaments.
Right.
How will the announcement of the new tech line affect the tournament strategies?
I think that teams will be practicing in all of the off time beforehand. So let's say in January and February, teams are practicing, but they will have to change. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how big of a change that tank or new line will affect the meta. But in the case of the 60 TP, for example, since that's one that was experienced already, it changed it a lot. The 60 TP was a very influential tank in that season.
So, we're going to have our big tournaments in November and early December, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Julian? Confirm, please. Yes? Yes, you say yes, yes. Didn't say yes. So we have already announced that we're going to have a new Ethereum tank destroyers in update 9.4. Update 9.4 is exactly the update when we're going to have big season tournaments.
Correct.
So, what is your point?
So I guess my point is, even though we know that it's coming, nobody is able to practice with that tank yet. So in the case of the Minotauro, since that's the one that will be coming, right? We won't be able to practice with the Minotauro until update 9.4 releases. And so
In our open tests.
If I may suggest something to Welllegs and Alexandra, there's a clan testing program.
Right.
If you could extend this before seasons to top teams of maybe previous seasons, so maybe take the top 8 of the previous season, contact them, and before the meta change, or I don't know, maybe make the tank available to play in test rooms or something like that. So we can train with the tank maybe 1 month before the season. And if it's not the case, then don't make it available to us in advance.
I think that you mix the test of the tank with preparation for the tourneys.
I do. I mean, even though the tank statistics aren't final and they are subject to change, I think you get at least to get a grasp and understanding of the tank. So, for example, maybe the Minotaur is not in its final state, but we could see how we could use it, how it could impact the game, and even if it gets buffed or nerfed, then we can still adjust a little bit how we will use the tank.
right,
So,
we can make changes based on what we expect, but without knowing that beforehand, it's hard to make those adjustments in a short amount of
Guys,
time.
I don't want to seem like rude in this communication, but do you understand that when we have clan testing on of the tank or tank branch, we want to test the tech characteristics of a certain vehicle?
yes.
Do you understand that testing of the characteristics of a certain tank does not have anything anything in common with planning tourneys strategies.
Mm,
I'm not sure I understood. I'm sorry. It doesn't like learning.
I'm afraid that you mix two totally different things in one pot. Like testing vehicles with clans is totally different from planning early strategies in tournaments with your clans. Like, for example, we're going to have big tournaments in November, right? In late November, early December. We have already announced the Italian tank destroyers line, right?
correct.
Correct.
Um, how can we help in this situation to make like tourney strategies more comfortable, more predictable? Is it was it late for you to understand that we're going to have a new tank line in big tourneys?
If I may answer, I think having the announcement early is nice because we get to know the meta will change, but it doesn't help us prepare for it really. I do have another suggestion though. If you make the open test server open for longer, then we could use this as clans to train on the test server, on the open test, and see what the tank is like. This could be a solution, and then it wouldn't be involved in testing in a way.
I'm afraid we don't have such a opportunity yet.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting changes for this season. I think that we were more talking about in the future. So not for the Minotauro, but maybe for future tanks.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
we could have more notice and maybe have open tests open longer so that we can actually try learning the actual tank's gameplay by playing it ourselves to determine whether or not our strategy changes need to be made. I think that was kind of the overarching theme. We understand that at this point, it would be really, really hard to make changes to that scheduling. And I don't think that that was an expectation. We appreciate the prior notice in this case of knowing that the Minotauro is coming, so we can plan around that. But even more notice, I think, is what we were talking about being possibly helpful in the future.
I think that your ability to adapt to the situation shows your skill a lot.
I guess, yeah.
I agree.
But isn't it like if the tournaments are meant to just showcase a new tank, then it's also in Wargaming's interest to show them in their best way and not just have teams still in a testing stage. I think in that regard, it would be nice to just have the new tanks be released just a little bit sooner. Like a few weeks would already allow the teams to practice a bit.
It's very, very complicated situation,
Yeah.
to let teams to play, to use it. Maybe I will sound a little bit cruel, but
Oh, you're still there.
before the release, everybody teams are like in the same situation where you had no opportunity to use it and you have it with the release. For us, it's very understandable
Maybe
how
for
the
running.
tank and for me too. Sometimes we can just accept that we have some later or no. But and I want to know that we are in the same, situation. Me too. Like new tank. Let's try it.
Yeah, that I agree.
Just a moment to point out that tanks on the tests are not the same that tanks on
Yeah, 100. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And but and if you think that plans like use and try some tanks and they have some advantages, is not true. Because tanks before release testing case, we do it to try tanks to fix it before the release and so on and so on. And if somebody tried it, it doesn't mean that they pro on it. It just means that he tried some version of this tank. But it's the final one.
The
demo version.
Yeah, demo. If you want to use the final version, please send your money to the short number 4422. We can joke too.
Not
That's
sure.
fair.
Not sure if these guys understand these jokes.
Sorry, like interesting joke. We had some advertising on the TV. It was like we had some short numbers for some advertising when you can order some shop.
You don't need to explain your jokes.
It do not even words.
We get questions in the game. Release date, new update.
November, mid of November.
That was in the game. Somebody just asked you that.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions to Elian?
Days asked a question, and maybe he can expound on it as well. But I wanted to touch on this. Is about I'm not asking for specific details, but about like the budgeting that is dedicated to the competitive scene of World of Tanks Blitz. Are there any planned changes on like more committed money, because or not money as rewards, but just to fund making it more popular? Because Days gave the example of League of Legends or Counter-Strike, where there is a lot of money that the companies that run those games put into the competitive scene, and that is kind of what is the backbone of the game. And they both share the belief that the competitive scene is something that is kind of the backbone of a successful game. And we were wondering about if there were any more plans to dedicate more time, energy, resources in general to competition to make sure that the game thrives.
Feels correct to compare these games.
I just wanted to notice I have some experience with esports scene, other disciplines, and the thing is, all these competitive tournaments, all the things. Actually, a lot of I don't speak about Blitz. I speak about sports in common. It means that all the spheres has no real income from it. You have some goals, you have some sponsors, but actually it's like some you can't understand what you expect from the gaming, sports gaming. All the sponsors in esports gaming, they just hope. They don't know how to count the KPIs. They don't know how to count some income. They don't know numbers. It's like, some unexpected thing, and we're trying to invest in it.
Sure.
That's why you can think that it's very successful in LoL, in CSGO, in Dota. Yeah, and maybe from the other side, you can think that it's very successful. But from other side, from the side of the developers, actually it's not, can be true. Sometimes they lost more than they earn. And sometimes somebody invested in it and lost more than they get. Because in sports, you have no real income. Like you have viewers, you have sponsors, you have something else, but it's hard to count it. I don't speak about World of thanks, Blitz. I speak about esports at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess I
like,
understand what you're saying, that sometimes, you know, there's hidden numbers that we don't really see from the outside looking in.
And sometimes people trying to compare some games, like they have big team, they have big prize pools or something like that, but and all these people think that they have a cool income of it because of it, but it's not true. Sometimes they lose a lot, or sometimes they don't want that we'll get in the future. It's very hard to count what will you get. It's sphere don't have real numbers. You just believe in it. The thing is, you know, only players is a really cool people that they're really into your game, but you can't count it in numbers.
Just
Sure.
out of interest.
I appreciate that. That's an interesting insight.
Just one question.
Yeah, and it's not. It's like it's not my research. It's like if you will research some statistics, analytics from esports, you will see the same opinion. A lot of numbers, a lot of investments, a lot of companies that I see every day. A lot of collaborations, auto, some brands, and so on and so on and so on. Well, but what they get from it, nobody knows. They just give their money, trying to get something from it, but they don't understand what they get in the end.
So as a result, like the answer would be that there is currently no plans in increasing the esports, investment.
No, it was like common answer about all sphere. Of course, we like all gaming fans, all gaming fans. We like to see the more quality of the tournaments in competitive scene, and maybe we will develop it. But you never know, when you have monetization plans, you always know what you will get in that. No, you plan on something. We have competitive scene, it's like.
And I think that the question should be like, do you have any suggestions?
Do you have some companies that want to invest?
Yeah, some free money, yeah.
No. Actually, of course, I'm joking, but I'm trying to explain you some real processes here. Not from only WOTB, but at all.
That makes sense. I think what I understand you saying is like we don't want to make investment of resources without knowing that we'll be able to have a positive return, especially when there's so much speculation involved and you don't know if you'll be able to even break even and get back the time or effort that is put in.
I feel like we want to support it. We want to support all these players. We also support all these.
Guys, tournaments is not about return
money. It's not about money.
It's not about return of money or resources or something else. It's just about competitive part of World of Tanks. Blizzard does not suggest any kind of return backs.
Sure.
Yeah. We would like to grow it.
Sure.
Of course, and we will try to do it. But
I guess the only guaranteed return is with player retention. If the game continues to be interesting, and for a lot of people that is in the competitive scene, then players will stick around and they'll continue spending money on the game, which will help continue like growing the game as well. But yes, I understand.
I think that it's not like a good things to compare because tournaments is not about money.
Right, I see.
And engagement, win back, and other things. Again, not about tournaments.
That's fair enough.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't think that it's good to talk about money and.
We're not from not economists.
in according to our tournament.
All good. Thank you for the answer.
One question I have, not on that topic but similar, if there is one thing you could change, Toylan, to sort of make people more sort of interested in tournaments and get involved, what would that be?
Complex question.
Yeah.
You know,
No?
you know, when you meet a competitive scene, you should understand what's the lack of people. It's the people that very interested in the game. Something changed. I can't. Okay, I would like more players that are interested in Tony. Like the only decision. I can't change anything to interest more. Of course, more. Some, for example, advertising, more viewers, and so on and so on. But more people in the game, more tourney teams, more tourneys, more prize pool, and so on. Something like that. I would like to see more people in our game.
For sure.
It will be a win-win situation.
Use it.
I think the players and community in general share that desire, because having a bigger group will just make it more competitive and more interesting. So like if there's anything the community can do to help out, please let us know, because we love the game. That's why we play it. And so like we're happy to contribute in ways. I mean, not everyone can contribute the same, but everyone can do their part and try to help grow the game. We want to see it grow too.
Mm-hmm. One more question to you, Toylan. With the, I don't know if it's been answered already in the forum where normally the rules are put, but with the migration, how is Wargaming approaching the foreign players rule thing?
Can't understand the question.
Legionnaire subject.
I believe he's asking about how, like, the players who are migrating from Ukraine and Kazakhstan, as was previously mentioned, how they will be handled in regard to the Legionnaire rule. And I believe Tolyan or someone else already mentioned a little bit on the official Blitz server, saying that none of those players would be considered Legionnaires.
Mm-hmm.
Only
Yeah. I had some questions like region rule is not to stop somebody to play in it. It's like to have some borders.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't try to stop somebody. We're trying to have some borders, yes, and we have the number of countries that we consider like new region in tournaments. No political, background, no other. Only for participating in tournaments. We have no real aim to trying to
I'm on fire.
cancel somebody. Yeah, and that's why we have these countries. Ukraine is in Ukraine region now for tourneys, and other countries. Our way to deal with.
That's fair enough. Because I know some players worry about that, because they think, oh, have I got, am I going to be penalised because I've got more than 2 legionnaires or whatever. Yes. Okay. It's good to know.
Oh, I will have a lot of tickets in my direct messages.
Yeah.
Because people will send me some proof that they are not generous.
It's always the way. Always the way. And then I know we sort of touched on it earlier, but do you think that the the tournaments will ever get back to a position whereby there will be a medium meta? Because it's been very heavy meta for quite a while now.
Could you clarify what do you mean?
With the tanks. Okay, so at the moment, most of the teams roll out with a very heavy lineup. There may be the occasional light tank like the
okay.
yeah. But it's very rare. I mean, you mentioned that it's very rare to see TDs, but it's also equally rare on occasion to see that many medium tanks. I know some teams like to take out things like the T22 or the Object 140, etc., etc. But do you think there'll be a stage whereby the medium? I mean, because I know it was changed because mediums were dominating a bit, but with the heavy sort of hit point buff, so to speak, it sort of reduced the impact of mediums. Do you think it'll ever get back to a position whereby mediums will come in again?
Let me say that in the nearest future, we don't have plans to change the heavy so medium tanks meta. Yeah, so like the nearest change we're going to have in tier 10 vehicles meta is Italian tank destroyers. Yeah, so
Sure.
if you just you understand the situation, yeah.
Absolutely. And no, I get that. And you know, I just know. I mean, is Jack still here? Because I know Jack is a real big fan of medium tanks, and he's always going on about medium tanks. And
Jack is a lawyer of medium tanks, of course.
He is he is a lover of medium tanks, and he's always saying, "When are we getting back to the medium meta?"
Aww.
And
I think I really want to see mediums back in like the tournament meta, because this kind of this meta really speeds things up, and it makes some really entertaining matches, to be honest. And it's quite a finesse type tank type in World of Tanks Blitz, because it takes some skill to make medium tanks work with their lack of penetration in particular. But they have some really good DPM. Also, they don't have like really good armor as well. So yeah, it will be really good to see like medium tanks back in the fray, and they can bring us some amazing and extraordinary and entertaining gameplays for sure.
Check best tank on tier 10.
Well, I mean, before like the updates, I forgot the big update. I think it was 9.0, whereby the TSI.
No, not yesterday, not 2 years ago. Now.
Yeah, well, I haven't played a lot lately, but I used to love T62A a lot. I believe it's nerfed a little bit for the gun accuracy, so I didn't really explore that back. But I really enjoyed that tank. It was quite a mobile tank, and it takes some effort to play it well. But then if you are in the mood, and you can really make this tank work really well. And it has really good DPM.
Yeah, just in case, for example, Daisy invites you to play in tournament, and you'll have to pick one tank. You'll pick T62.
No, of course. Tournament is a totally different story.
Course.
No, tournament is a totally different story. So I don't know. I prefer like the light tank role a little bit more. But then, like Dace is in a really good team, so I think he will pick me in Type 6 in Type 71 anyway. So
I myself am playing the Type right now, so yep.
Yeah, so I don't think I have a choice there.
You just sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just saying no
Yeah.
because I didn't want you to die.
I think I think like to reflect on what Wild Ones Helper is saying, we can kind of look back at the spring season where T100s were involved, and that was a very fast-paced meta and exciting meta as well. But I believe Tolian and Alexandra said earlier as well that they plan to continue having the meta shift. So it would be really cool if we had a meta similar to that one in the future, or like when Progettos were used. Those sorts of things, like meta shifts in general, cool.
Yeah. Now that you said, now that you said about I think the spring season, that reminds me of 2018 Twister season as well.
Not
That was
2018, yeah. Good times to remember. I just missed 2018. No COVID.
No COVID, yeah, exactly.
Nothing. Yeah, a moment of silence.
Yeah, I had a question from NetForce, which I don't think was put forward. He put it into the general chat that we've got here on Discord. He said, "What is?" Oh my God, I've only got Pramo. Sorry. He said, "Is there will there be objections from Wargaming if sponsorship was brought into the game? Clan sponsorship is what he means there."
What do you mean?
Where clans get sponsored by external parties.
Do you have any objections to that? If for example, community has like their own sponsorship or any organization.
About sponsorship, I feel like we're open to some options. Of course, we'll not be upset if somebody wants to support our tournament. You will have some options. Well, as for me, not for Wargaming, for me, I mean, I can answer for myself. I will be very happy. Of course, if have some options, we'll be open for it, and we will try to. If some teams will have some options, sometimes I read some messages. Some teams have some sponsors, and like, yeah, successful. I'm really happy for them.
So to make long story short, if any team has found the sponsor, you're not against, and Wargaming as a whole is not against for the team to have a sponsorship.
Yeah, I think that's what NetForce was asking.
Your turn. For example, if me and Wellx, we have a team, right? Yeah, and we, for example, found the sponsor in Huawei. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have best team on our region. We are super cool team. We are ready to fight for the championship title, and Huawei sponsor us. Yeah, they just give money for our trainings.
For example, yes.
For some
cool clothes. Yes.
Other stupid things. Yeah. So Wargaming is not against us to have this company as a sponsor.
But it depends on the way you will show the sponsorship.
Could you just clarify the situation a little bit?
I mean, for example, sometimes in the disciplines, some companies can have some betting companies as sponsors. Yes, for example, but you can't show them in an air, like in not live, to show them on live. Sometimes they can delete it, should delete it. It depends on the way you will support the sponsorship. Will it be in your T-shirt? Will it be in your clan tag? Will it be in your nickname? It's one. I think it's not. It's hard to decide. I can't answer you in common. We need to see the situation, every situation, to discuss it, and maybe we can support, we agree with something or not agree. Yeah.
And I'm just getting mindful now because it's getting late where you guys are. It's like 10:30 and you're still at work, basically.
Hello?
Yeah.
It's me.
I'm wondering.
If after all this, I would still like to meet.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have offline.
Still here? Oh, we just here talking to each other.
Sugar, I forgot to load ammo again. Oh.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Come, Celia.
She's there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a word. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting a bit tired, to be fair, but
Yeah, I feel you. So it's 10:30 p.m. in Vilnius, and yeah, I feel you. What are your expectations upon the autumn season grand finals?
I actually don't know. I think the ex-CIS players will have a lot of impact on the EU scene, because I do think that most competitive teams will have one or two legionnaires. Because if nothing else, they will want to learn from the Russian players. Well, at least the CIS players, I should say. Because the game has always been very different there. And we've seen that in previous seasons where CIS legionnaires have been used in EU server this year. That you see distinct differences between those teams and the teams that do not have that influence. So I'm kind of excited because it has made the tours so far more brawly, but at the same time also a lot more unpredictable, and that part I really like.
Yeah. I mean, adding to what to expect, I think besides those kind of the teams with a couple of foreign players from the CIS server, like Endgame with some of the players from Pink, and then there is BPS with players from Seven Star, and Immortals with some players from Gucci Gang team. But then there are also like the entire CIS teams coming to the EU server. I hope I'm not wrong about this. Maybe some of the EU clan reps could correct me on this, but I believe like Mercy might play it on the EU server as well, maybe with the crocodile team, and also maybe the. I mean the Gucci Gang team as well, like the that team. I'm not sure if they're going to participate as well. So I mean there are also like those genuine, authentic CIS teams that compete on the CIS server, and then they just bring the entire team over to the EU server. But I think Dace might have a better idea on this part than I do. So maybe you could add more about those kind of teams where they bring like the entire CIS team over to the EU server. Do we see like a lot of that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what kind of teams do we expect actually?
I'm thinking most teams in top 8 will be European, with some CIS players included in the European teams. But I'm also thinking we'll probably see Pink for sure, so
yeah.
DIS. And then maybe we'll see TTYTT, which I think is the team you were referring to as Crocodile team.
Okay.
Mercy.
Right.
So I still think the European scene will be mostly the same, but with small changes, and I think the gameplay and the overall style will also change a bit.
Yeah. So I mean, these are the teams that I think we should look out for like the top 8. But also like the topic of top 8. I mean, obviously it's going to be quite different. Yeah. I mean, we know like the top 4 for the VPC, the top 6 for the VPC, that was held not long ago. I think we might expect them also in the top 8 as well. I don't know if anything has changed, but yeah, but I'm really excited to see those teams that are fighting for top 8. I think it will be a tough battle, and I think might have a bit to do with luck in the seeding as well.
Well, just going on, just expanding on that. Days, who have you got your eye on? As in the clan or the teams to beat, because I know you guys sort of prepare, all you pros.
Obviously, I think APA is looking out for Pink because they came second in BPC, and I've played with some Pink guys before around summer season, and they're really good players, so I'm looking out for them. I think they'll do great in the upcoming tournament. Still looking for some teams to wake up, but yeah, I also worried about BPS as always. They've done great in the past. So yeah, those are the teams I'm looking out for.
Interesting. What about you, Jack and Amunet?
Definitely. Maybe Eminet should go first before I do.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know the specifics of the team. I don't know yet how they're going to merge. I usually wait until I've seen people play before I make a call for the top 4. But at the same time, to be fair, I'm mainly there for the games. I love the top level gameplay and the way that basically the teams duke it out. That's the part of tours that I love. And because of that, because I get kind of lost in the gameplay itself, I also kind of don't keep track properly of all the specific teams. So I don't know who to guess for the top 8, because we've seen with BPC, we've seen sort of set teams having no answer to other teams that are only slightly different than they used to be before. So I think because of the XCIS influences that we see, it is very difficult to call who's going to reach top 8, let alone who's going to reach top 4.
Yeah. I mean, onto that topic about top 8, definitely the top 6, I would definitely regard them as top 8 contenders, and also Serenity definitely as well. Yeah, these teams are really competent. Then there are those two BPS teams, and especially the Speedrunnery team. That team was really strong, and I would even dare to say they are quite dominant in the summer season. So this is like a team that a lot of teams will be looking to beat, and they're definitely not going to be an easy team to beat. And I mean, that team has Uf and Josh as well, so that's going to be the bar that a lot of teams would set to meet. But yeah, I think also, as I mentioned, the Crocodile team, the TTYTT, this is also another team to watch out, and I would not be surprised if we are seeing some shockers, some surprises that from a clan that we haven't heard of, maybe a clan from the CIS server that managed to kind of slip into top 8. I could see that happening totally, so I won't rule that out. And until the season begins, I don't think we have a certain top 8. And yeah.
Jack, just to remind you, we don't have the opportunity to have this whole team be present from the CIS server.
That's true. So they might mix in some players that are not from from Russia or Belarus. So yes, but we don't know.
So, what are your expectations from autumn season grand finals? High, medium, low?
For me, high.
Very high.
Really extremely high. Yes.
High.
I mean, pressure is onto Endgame as well. They have to defend the title. They've won the EU server autumn season for 3 years in a row.
Oh, you say autumn season. Ah. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, the grand final. 3 times in a row in yeah. Twister season or autumn season. But I think they have a lot of challenges to overcome for sure, and yeah, and I'm actually quite interested to see how they will perform this season.
So this autumn season is going to be awesome season?
Awesome,
so.
yeah, awesome
Yeah.
season.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Barcelona is there.
Here. Sounds
I
bad.
can joke about okay.
Yeah, so by the way, we're going to have like more activities in November, and not only about tournaments, but also we're going to have clan events. I don't hear the noises of appreciation of clan event.
No, I think that no, I think the clan event will be something that a lot of people will be interested in.
We definitely are, but we don't want you to. Don't want to keep you from saying anything that you might not be allowed to share yet. That we really want to know about the clan event.
Sure.
Oh, we're going to have a clan event.
I have a question for Wellix actually.
Okay,
Sure.
try.
Yes, what can we expect for the NA Clan War scene this autumn season?
Being just around top 16, maybe myself, I'm not a very good player, but I know that the Joker's team is very, very strong. They have maintained a lot of dominance the last few seasons. Leverage is still looking strong. They're better in slower paced gameplay. Panda, I have some friends on Panda. Panda will be very strong. Apex is very, very strong. Blue is running a great team there. I think that they all four of those teams will be competing for top 4, and I need to shout out and say sorry for anyone who I miss. But there's a good diversity of teams here too. There's a few wild cards that could make it in, but without a merge so drastic as combining CIS and EU, it should be similar to previous seasons. I would expect.
Where did you
Yes.
go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you haven't mentioned Premo and Purple, so have these two kind of teams changed?
Pramo, okay, so Pramo, without going into detail, Pramo at the moment, absolutely, they'll have great players and they'll put up a great fight, but without seeing them play in that specific group before, it's hard to say exactly how far they will go or how far they can go. Purple has a team. I would expect them to probably come close to top 8. They always have really good seeding, which helps them get very far. But I'm not sure if they'll make it into top 8. We will have to see. It will be very borderline. They could be like winning challengers or making it into top 8, I would expect, but I'm not sure.
Oh, also, I think the two clans also on my head at the moment are maybe 3 clans I would say. MM, GG, and also R Resistance. Do we have any like
I'm
updates
not
on these
sure
3
if GG has
teams?
a team. GG, I do not believe is holding the team at the moment. R, the caller / captain for R has since retired. So I'm not sure if they're playing there. I haven't heard anything about that. So I would guess not. Let me think. What was the other one? Moonmen?
Yeah,
Moonmen, I
Moonmen.
believe, had a team. I'm not sure if they still do. There's been a lot of shuffling around between teams that I've heard about. People going back and forth. There is another team I should mention is the Reggie team or Straight team. They've kind of been going back and forth there, but if they play out of Straight, it would kind of be like a Straight revival, STR8. And Rival is a big clan that has been popular for a while. They've been doing really well in their scrims. We'll have to see how they do as well. I'm not sure, but they could perform very well in challengers or maybe squeak into top 8 somehow. But yeah, it'll be interesting on NA.
Yeah, I mean, also Jokers, are they going to compete in the original Jokers clan tag or the Melon clan tag?
I think Melon was a one season wonder. I believe that they're planning to play out of Jokers, but I don't know a lot of their team members very well. I know Raxi the best. And as far as I know, I think they're still planning to play out of Jokers, but I'm not certain.
Yeah. I mean, like Joker's already had the clan logo in game, so it might
Yeah.
be good to give Melon the clan logo too. But I don't know.
They're a really fun group of guys, though, and so they like to joke around. Hence the Melon season, which was very fun to watch. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see. I'm not sure. I can't say for certain.
Right. Yeah. And then I don't think there are, I mean, the APAC players are definitely asleep, but maybe I can talk a little bit because I was kind of asking about APAC around, and yeah, I mean the information I got, I think the teams we will be expecting the similar clans this year. I think maybe Nomad is a clan I haven't heard of, and someone predicted it to be in top 8, so will be interesting to see how they play. But yeah, but I think like APAC would be pretty much. I heard that Aaron is back, so this is going to be interesting to see.
Lovely.
Yes, so yeah, so pretty much the old clans you name on the
Oh,
APAC
got a new
server,
turret.
they're going to compete. Pretty
Got a new
much.
turret. That's not good.
Right. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. So, oh yes, and maybe I'll do a little bit of advertisement. For me, I'm planning to kind of run the power rating this season. That's going to have a similar formula as Elo rating, so it kind of gives the rating of the clans. I'll try to experiment that this season, so I'm not sure if it's going to be like the perfect depiction of the ability of the clans, especially EU server, where I probably don't have like a lot of information from a lot of clans. So we have to wait and see. But it will be run during the autumn season, and the bot predictions will come from there too. So hopefully my bot's going to predict right results. But then I'm a jinxer, so
I trust more in the jinxing than in the predicting. Because that's proven so true.
Oh, you lucky son of a gun.
I'm sorry, I'm supporting Fuser because he's like PvP.
There, and
He's E3 right now.
Can't pen this E3. Not
Fuser,
frontally.
I believe in you. You have no chances, but I believe in you.
I support all the teams. I hope all the teams will
He's got a better
show the
reload
best
than me.
results.
So,
Fuser,
unfortunate.
you know, my support.
I know. We had that, but E3s are just very tricky. Very tricky.
So
I think I think we should leave it there because it's getting late for everybody. I think.
maybe I should like leave a little amount of spoilers for the event we're going to have in November and December. If you don't mind, of course.
Of course we don't mind.
Okay, so I guess that we have already spoiled that in November we're going to have a clan event, of course, of his tier 9 tank destroyer, right? By the way, we're going to have one more event in November with like resources that you can spend to get the tier 6 tank is Zigger Max, or maybe some mysterious containers with other premium tanks. And also November is exactly the month when we are going to have esports event. Tolan, say yes. And you appreciate.
Yes.
Okay. Acceptable. Yeah. So yeah, guys. The end of November is exactly the time when we going to have the start of our Blitz Ultimate Cups events, tournament streams. And we're going to finish these streams in early December. After that, we're going to have December, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year activities. So stay tuned. You want to get awards, of course, and yeah, new line of researchable Italian tank destroyers is going to be released in 9.4 update, which is going to be released in mid of our November months. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted with certain dates and yeah, 2 events with new tier 9 clan vehicle and Zikr marks are waiting for you in November. So yeah, November is going to be hot. And Turan, how do you think should we announce the tanks that will be in Blizz Ultimate Cup event or not yet?
One. Maybe one. One.
Up to you.
Not up to me. You can choose. I can give you my agreement.
You can release one tank, of course. Which one? One of 3.
First.
Is it Chimera?
No way.
What a surprise!
We're so shocked for a month.
So, guys, to make long story short, I'm going to have chest with keys in this November Esports story. Yeah, so you'll play battles, receive closed chests, and you'll need to watch streams to get keys to open these chests to receive tanks, premium tier 8 vehicles, yeah?
Cool.
Yes, Taran, yes? I need your yes, strong yes, please.
Like, what about weak yes?
Yes.
And on that, just at the background, I've got all the names, but it's not coming up very nicely at the moment. But we've got all the names, all the people who have won. So we'll get those sorted, and I'll need all your bits and bobs on the. I'll put the names on both the Discord server and the YouTube community tab, so you can get all your stuff in. But the winners are not coming out very well on the stream, unfortunately. But I'll tell you the names because it's very quick. Moocow, Spitfire, Search for Spock, Renjiru, Camus, FTFT Game, Doug Steele, Whale Legs, Radar X2628, A Professor, Days, Tank Maestro, Mr. T Game, Netforce Layla, Mr. Devil Commander, Vale Lump, Monkey, Chris Fogel, and The Deal for Real. Those are the 20 winners. Well done. And everybody's gone. Where is everybody?
We're still here.
Ah, there you go. So those are the 20 winners. They'll be on my YouTube community tab and they will be listed in my Discord. So I need your in-game names, guys, and your servers, and if possible, your user ID. But certainly your in-game name and your server, please.
Yeah, Amanda, don't forget to post your in-game name and region.
Me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And with that, it's been a bit of a different stream because the tour starts tomorrow on EU and APAC, and for me anyway, it starts tomorrow on EU and APAC, and then the day after for NA. All the streams will be listed, guys, so you can get all the action across all the servers. So keep an eye on both the game and Wargaming's Discord. like to thank absolutely every single one of you for coming in and discussing this, and a particular thanks, and I know this is a bit, it's thanks to everybody, especially my mods in the YouTube chat, but a particular thanks to both Alexandra and Toyland from Wargaming for coming in and helping us out with this and giving us some insight from the Wargaming's viewpoint. It's been absolutely special and fantastic, and I, for one, am looking forward to a fantastic tournament season.
I hope.
Best of luck to everyone.
I hope that we're going to have a fantastic tournament season, but you do your best to make this tournament season.
You're not to end the tournament season in the hospital.
Yeah. By the way, I guess that tomorrow is a date when we are going to have the voting for our marathon of game modes. So tomorrow the players can pick the best game mode they want to play one more time this October. Yeah, so proceed to our official Discord server to vote for this best game mode.
Yeah, best fun mode.
Yeah, what is the best game mode for you?
Boss mode.
Boss mode. Yeah, boss mode.
Of course. We don't have racing, so what for a racing?
But
yeah.
But of course, rating after tournaments.
Of course. I think that we need some special rating, uprising tournament.
Oh my god, I love that.
That would be funny.
Yeah, so Fusion, just big thanks to you and Amonet and all your server for having us live here today on your live stream. And yeah, we promise that November is going to be hot and December as well. And we are doing our best to make Blitz Ultimate Cups comfortable and nice for everyone.
Thank you so much for everything you two do. Honestly, since Tolion has been in charge of the tour scene, I think I speak for everyone when I say the tour scene has never been listened to this much. Stuff is actually being done with the feedback that we give, and that's honestly fantastic. So thank you so much.
Oh, see my face now. You will see, you will bring your words back.
Never.
Thank you. I'm very glad to work with you because it's very nice in every moment to understand. Yes, well, somebody will. Sometimes some people trying to use some harsh words, but it's the point that they're very involved in it. It's very cool that we have the point of people that involved in the tournaments, and I'm happy to have you. And I'm happy to have you like spectators, like streamers. That you're very involved, and it's very nice to ask you some questions to understand your point of view. Thank you that you're with us. From all my heart.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But as
thank you
Aminette
very
said,
much.
You've seen from the reaction that you get from most of the clans, Toyland, that you are highly respected.
You've got a fan club.
Yeah, you have. And
you legit have a fan club.
Yeah. And you're very highly respected in the tour scene. And to be honest with you, I've never seen somebody answer so quickly a question that is put to them. Most people don't answer as quickly as you do. So keep up the good work.
I will try. Well, my best. Stay with us.
Absolutely. And as I said, with that, we'll let everybody go because probably they all need to go home and drink coffees and go to bed and stuff like that. But as I said, massive thanks from me to everybody who took part, those on YouTube, those in the Discord. It's big shout out to all the moderators on the YouTube chat. They're the unsung heroes behind the scenes who make everything go squeaky clean for you guys in YouTube to make sure that it's a nice place. And that's all I've got to say. So big thank you to everybody, and hopefully we'll catch each other again soon. As I said, the tournament starts tomorrow, guys. So keep your eyes peeled on these YouTube channels and on the Discord channels. So
Yeah.
cheerio from me.
Good luck to everyone.
Thanks everyone. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yes,
Good
and good
luck.
luck to all the clans taking part, of course.
Good luck. Best of luck. Best of luck. And yeah, guys, I hope to see you in autumn season grand finals.
Indeed. And with that,
Yeah, Fusion, I'm gonna to also, Jack, I would like to see you as well in grand finals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
we'll be
Yeah.
lurking
Yeah.
there somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. Hugs to you from Vilnius to, yeah, Dubai, Netherlands, and UK,
Mhm.
right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct. Yeah. So I hope to see you one day in real life. Finally.
Insight has just said, oh, Alexander's going to leak the whole roadmap. She didn't, Insighter. You're okay.
Don't break my heart. Yeah. So Fusion, thank you so much
No,
for
thank you, guys.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for invite. It was very
No,
pleasure for
thank
me.
you
It was
for-
my first invite.
Oh, we'll invite you all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah. Let's reveal. Now we all know that Talan is not a man, but a human.
Voice
You-
review.
Yes, voice reveal. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much, and yeah, let's stay in touch. We'll keep you posted with the details about our upcoming events, and I guess that we'll hear you soon on our finals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be
So
happy.
best of luck to the clans, to the teams, and yeah, let's see who is the strongest on each and every region of our arena.
And let's hope Jack doesn't jinx anybody. And with that, we will go. Right. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Nice to talk with you.
Oh, the stream's finished.